The black Labrador sat alone again. His cage door slammed shut. Another family walked away without him. Benny watched them leave through the glass. His tail did not wag anymore. The shelter staff exchanged worried glances. This was the 8th time. 8 different families had adopted him. 8 times he had been returned. All within just 3 days each. Something was terribly wrong with this dog. But nobody could figure out what. Dr. Adriana Velasco knelt beside his cage. She had worked at Sunshine Animal Shelter for 12 years. Never had she seen anything like this. Benny was perfect in every way. He was house-trained and gentle. He loved children and other animals. His health record showed no problems. Yet every single family brought him back. The reasons made no sense. He becomes aggressive at night. He destroys furniture after midnight. He attacks the front door constantly. Something evil is inside that dog. Dr. Velasco felt chills run down her spine. The families all described the same terrifying behavior. A gentle dog transforming into something else. Only during specific nighttime hours. Only between 11:45 p.m. and 2 a.m. The rest of the time he was perfect. What could cause such dramatic changes? The 3-year-old Labrador had been at the shelter for 8 months. He was found wandering the streets. Alone, hungry, and scared. The intake paperwork was nearly blank. Someone had scribbled "Stray found on 5th Street" across the top. No collar, no microchip, no identification. The shelter staff named him Benny. But even that might be wrong. Dr. Velasco studied the dog carefully. He showed no signs of mental illness. No indicators of abuse or trauma. His behavior during the day was flawless. But something happened when darkness fell. Something that terrified every family. Something that made gentle Benny dangerous. The shelter board was losing patience. "This dog is a liability," Chairman Wilson declared. "What if he hurts a child? What if he kills someone? We cannot keep adopting out a dangerous animal." Dr. Velasco begged for more time. "There has to be an explanation," she insisted. "Good dogs do not become evil overnight. Let me investigate further. Give me 2 more weeks." Wilson reluctantly agreed. But his message was clear. Find answers or Benny dies. That night, Dr. Velasco made a decision. She would stay at the shelter. She would witness Benny's transformation herself. She would solve this mystery once and for all. At 11:30 p.m., she positioned herself outside his kennel. The shelter was dark and quiet. Most dogs were sleeping peacefully. But Benny was wide awake. His eyes were fixed on something she could not see. His body was tense like a coiled spring. At exactly 11:47 p.m., everything changed. Benny shot to his feet. A low growl rumbled from his throat. His hackles rose along his spine. He began pacing frantically. Back and forth, back and forth. His eyes never left the front entrance. Then the sounds started. Deep, haunting howls that echoed through the building. But they were not howls of pain. They were howls of fury. Howls of desperate, violent need. Dr. Velasco felt her blood freeze. This was not the gentle dog she knew. This was something else entirely. Something that wanted out. Something that had a mission. Benny threw himself against his cage door. The metal bars rattled violently. His claws scraped against the concrete. His teeth snapped at empty air. He was trying to escape. But to go where? To do what? The behavior continued for over 2 hours. At exactly 2:03 a.m., it stopped. Benny collapsed into his bed. He fell into exhausted sleep. As if nothing had happened. Dr. Velasco sat in stunned silence. No wonder families brought him back. This behavior would terrify anyone. But what was causing it? What was Benny trying to reach? What drove him to such desperate violence? The next morning, she installed hidden cameras. She needed to capture everything. She needed proof of what she had witnessed. She needed to understand the pattern. For 3 nights, she recorded everything. The results were even more disturbing. Benny's behavior followed exact timing. 11:47 p.m. to 2:03 a.m. every single night. Never a minute earlier or later. The precision was impossible to explain. Unless something was triggering him. Something happening at those exact times. But what could it be? Dr. Velasco began researching frantically. She studied dog psychology textbooks. She consulted with animal behaviorists. She searched online forums desperately. Nobody had ever seen anything like it. A dog with dual personalities. Angel by day, demon by night. Triggered by invisible forces. Following an unexplainable schedule. The mystery deepened with each passing day. Then she made a shocking discovery. While reviewing old security footage, she noticed something. Some other dogs in the shelter were reacting too. Not as violently as Benny. But at the same exact times. Ears perking up at 11:47 p.m. Restless pacing until 2:03 a.m. As if they all heard something. Something humans could not detect. Dr. Velasco felt her heart racing. This was not about one sick dog. This was about something bigger. Something that affected other animals. Something that happened every single night. But remained completely invisible to humans. She decided to study Benny more closely. She reviewed every detail of his behavior. The precise timing troubled her most. 11:47 p.m. to 2:03 a.m. every night. Never varying by even a minute. As if he was responding to something specific. Something that happened on a schedule. But what could be so precise? What occurred at those exact times? Only in this area of the city? Dr. Velasco felt sick to her stomach. Whatever was happening started when Benny came. Who was Benny's owner? What might they have been hiding? What his past may hide? Before we continue with Dr. Velasco's terrifying discovery, don't forget to like and subscribe, it really helps the channel grow. Dr. Velasco decided to investigate Benny's past. She asked a friend Jake, who was breeding dogs, for help. I need to understand this dog's history. He was found as a stray. But his behavior suggests training. Professional training. Jake agreed to help and ask his friends. His search led to disturbing discoveries. Several high-quality dogs had vanished mysteriously. All from the same neighborhood. All around 8 months ago. All high-quality, well-trained animals. Someone was targeting specific dogs, Jake reported. Taking them for a reason. But what reason? Dr. Velasco felt her stomach drop. What if Benny had not just been lost? What if he had escaped from something? Something that happened every night. Something that explained his terror. Dr. Velasco felt a chill run through her veins. What if Benny's behavior was not medical? What if it was trained? What if he was searching for something? Or someone? That night, she made a terrifying decision. She would follow Benny's gaze. She would see what he was staring at. She would discover what happened at 11:47 p.m. The truth was more horrifying than she imagined. At exactly 11:47 p.m., a black van drove past the shelter. It moved slowly, deliberately. The windows were tinted completely black. Music thumped from inside. Loud voices could be heard shouting. It circled the building once, then continued down the street. The same van returned every night. Same route, same timing, same sounds. Benny could hear it approaching from blocks away. He was not being aggressive. He was terrified of that van. He was trying to hide from whatever was inside. But his fear came out as fury. Dr. Velasco called Jake immediately. Benny is not sick. He is standing guard. We need to find out who that is. Jake arrived within the hour. Together, they waited in darkness. At 11:47 p.m., the van appeared. Jake followed it carefully. It led him to an abandoned warehouse. The sounds from inside were horrifying. Dogs barking in pain and terror. Men shouting and placing bets. The unmistakable sounds of illegal dogfighting. Inside, he made a discovery that explained everything. The warehouse was full of dogs. All forced to fight for entertainment. All living in cages until their turn. Benny had escaped from this nightmare. He had been stolen for the fighting ring. But somehow he had gotten away. Now he lived in terror every night. Hearing the van that transported fighters. The sound of that van triggered everything. Knowing it could take him back. Back to the hell he had escaped. His aggressive behavior was actually trauma. He was reliving his worst nightmare. Every single night at fighting time. Jake called the police immediately. Within hours, arrests were made. The dogfighting ring was destroyed. Dozens of abused dogs were rescued. The organizers faced serious prison time. Benny's nightly terror finally made sense. His problem behavior was actually PTSD. He had survived unspeakable abuse. While everyone thought he was defective, the truth spread like wildfire. Local news picked up the story. National media followed quickly. The headline read, "Shelter dog returned 8 times, the heartbreaking reason will shock you." Within hours, the story went viral. Thousands of people shared Benny's photo. Comments poured in from around the world. Someone must know this dog. Please help him find peace. This broke my heart. But one comment stood out from the rest. It came from a woman named Patricia Johnson. "I think I know who this dog belonged to. Can you call me immediately? This might be Tommy." Dr. Velasco's hands shook as she dialed. Patricia answered on the first ring. "My brother was Sergeant First Class Michael Johnson," she began. Her voice cracked with emotion. "He was deployed to Afghanistan 18 months ago. He died last year." Dr. Velasco felt her breath catch. "Tell me about Tommy," she whispered. Tommy was Mike's dog before deployment. A black Labrador who went everywhere with him. He left it at his friend's house. He planned to get him back when he returned. The pieces began falling into place. Tommy would wait by the door for my brother every night. Every single night without fail. Dr. Velasco started crying. On the day Michael passed away, a dog ran away from his friend's house. They searched for him but never found him. Mike loved that dog more than anything, Patricia continued. He talked about Tommy in every letter. He was counting the days until they could reunite. But that day never came. But Patricia was not finished talking. I want to adopt him, she said firmly. Tommy belongs with Mike's family. He deserves to know Mike's memory lives on. The reunion happened 1 week later. Patricia Johnson flew in from California. She brought Michael's uniform with her. And his favorite squeaky toy. When Tommy saw the uniform, he froze. His nose detected familiar scents. Memories of his fallen handler flooded back. But when Patricia spoke, everything changed. "Hello, Tommy," she whispered. "Michael told me so much about you. He said you were the bravest dog alive." He was right. Tommy approached slowly, carefully. He sniffed the uniform gently. Then he looked into Patricia's eyes. Something passed between them. Recognition, understanding, acceptance. Patricia was family. She carried Michael's love. She would keep his memory alive. Tommy pressed his head against her leg. For the first time in months, his tail wagged. Not the aggressive stance of a traumatized dog, but the happy wiggle of a pet. Coming home at last. The adoption was finalized that afternoon. Tommy would move to California. He would live on a ranch. He would have space to run and play. But he would never forget his time at the shelter and in that terrible place with dog fights. Dr. Velasco cried as they said goodbye. "You are the best dog we ever had," she whispered to Tommy. Tommy licked her face gently. As Patricia's car pulled away, Dr. Velasco smiled. The dog everyone feared was the savior of many other dogs. The monster was really an angel. The problem was actually the solution. Tommy had taught them all a lesson. Never judge by appearances. Heroes rarely look like heroes. The shelter created a scholarship fund in Tommy's name. It provided homes for other traumatized animals. Animals who needed special understanding. And for animals whose owners are no longer alive. Patricia sent updates regularly. Tommy was thriving on the ranch. He played with other dogs. He slept peacefully through the night. He had found his forever home. But every evening at sunset, he would sit quietly, looking toward the horizon, remembering his fallen handler, honoring the bond that death cannot break. Dr. Velasco visited them 6 months later. Tommy greeted her with pure joy. He was healthy, happy, and loved. But she noticed something special. Tommy still patrolled the perimeter each night, now protecting his new family. Tommy had taught them the most important lesson of all. Sometimes the greatest love looks like danger to those who do not understand. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us grow and create more stories.